Hello and welcome to Bites Bread and Barbecue. Today we're going to be talking about whether you really need Photoshop. A lot of us out there are amateur photographers or have images that we wish to manipulate, and Photoshop from Adobe, a wonderful program, can be very expensive. Enter Gimp. This is a program very similar to Photoshop. It can do 99% of what Photoshop does. It is completely free and legal. It is available for Windows, Linux, and Macintosh. So I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of what Gimp is capable of doing. Besides being a regular program where you can draw or create images freehand, it can also manipulate photos. In this example, I'm running Linux, and this is an Ubuntu 22.04 platform with Gimp 2.10.30, as you can see on the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some photos that I've taken with my iPhone, and we're going to see how we can manipulate those very similar to what Photoshop does. And this is a technique that I actually learned from Photo Advance on YouTube. And there are tons of videos on YouTube on how to use Gimp and to get the most out of it. So first what we're going to do is we're going to open a particular photograph here, and this is a picture of some lilies that happened to crop up in my son's garden after he bought a house from an elderly woman. He was not expecting these, and I took a picture of it with my iPhone. So it's going to ask me to actually rotate it as it suggests, and I'm going to convert this to GIMPs, and you can see this is already a very sharp photo. But just to give you an example, by using this feature down here, we can duplicate this layer twice. Staying on the original layer, if we come up here to colors and we go down to desaturate, and we're using a luminescence here, it takes all of the color out of that picture. We're then going to invert that picture, and finally using filters, we're going to take a Gaussian blur, and we're going to take that from the default up to about a 27 or 28, and it gives you this very blurred looking image. We're going to come over to opacity. We're going to bring that down to about 30%. And I realize I'm going very quickly, but this is just to show you what is possible with this program and how powerful it is. If I right click on this layer and I merge down, now I'm down to 2 layers. And we're going to switch this from normal mode to, now the suggested mode in the tutorial is a grain merge, which is going to give me brilliant color and some sun reflection on these flowers. And it does look spectacular in the photo here. And if we export this to a JPEG file, and let's name this one Gimp Lilies, so we don't get confused with the original, we're going to export it from there. And if we look at the 2 images side by side, this is the original picture, a fine photo. But if we put it next to the one that has been enhanced with GIMP, you can definitely see that the colors have been brought out. Sunshine reflected on the leaves and petals has been brightened and sharpened. And it's actually a spectacular photo now that we manipulated in very few seconds. Now let's take a look at something that may contain maybe just scenery instead of brilliant colors from flowers. I'm going to close this image, and I don't want to save the original, so let's open another here. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at, this is actually a view from Red Rock Canyon National Park in Nevada. And again, this is taken with an iPhone, a no fancy camera, and it does look as though this is a rather good picture. We're going to make our 3 layers again. On the top layer, we're going to repeat the process, desaturate, luminescence, and we're going to take the color, we're going to invert it that it looks like a negative, we're going to take our filter, and we're going to blur to the Gaussian blur, we're going to bring it up to about 30 somewhere close, click OK. We're going to take our opacity down to about 30%. It's a rather large photo, so it's taken a while for it to get to the opacity there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to right click and we're going to merge that layer down. Okay? Once we're here, we're going to change that mode. Now, you can see that there's a lot of options here, and the tutorial that I referenced suggests a grain merge. Now, to me, that almost looks too red. So in this particular instance, I'm going to select soft light, which kind of softens it a bit, but still brings some of the color up. And we're going to export this photo as Gimp Canyon. Export it. Okay, let's go to our file folder and we'll see if we can compare these two images side by side and see how they compare. And you can see that the red in the rock has been slightly enhanced, as well as some of the green here. The clouds in the sky might have been lightened a bit. If you wanted the cloud appearance, the original is actually showing more clouds here. But it does bring out some of the images. If you look at the snow back on the mountains, it's a little bit sharper, and this red was definitely brought out and along this pink color here. So suppose we're doing this process and we want to do it with people in the picture. Let me exit these instead of miniaturizing them. So if we open a picture, let's close all, card changes. We're going to open a picture with some people in it at this point. And we're still in Red Rock Canyon, but we have my family here. We're going to triple our layers. Okay. We're going to go to colors, desaturate, same old thing. The repetition here makes this really simple. We're going to invert it. Filters, we're going to go to the Gaussian blur. We're going to make that approximately 30 or so. And what we're going to do is change the opacity again down to about 30. And then we're going to take this photo, merge down, and again, changing normal mode. Now, watch this in particular. The tutorial I referenced says grain merge. If we do that, I think we almost look red, and the mountains back here look like they have way too much sun on them. So again, I'm going to pick soft light. And look how now we look like we have a little bit of a complexion, and the light on the mountains, you can still see definition, but it really brightened up this blue sky. So if we export this, this is Gimp Fam, export. And if we bring up our file folder here to look at the two images, we'll look at the original. And we look at the one that has been enhanced. You can see that the colors in this second photo are definitely enhanced. The sky is more blue. We have a little bit more of a complexion, although you could probably tone that down so we don't look sunburned, but it does show that you can enhance these with just a few clicks. And my point at this video is that Gimp is such a powerful program. It rivals Photoshop. It's completely free. And if you really go through some of the tutorials on YouTube, you can do great photo manipulation with just a few clicks and using Gimp. So for any of you out there that are a little bit frustrated and didn't want to spend money on Photoshop, take a look at Gimp. It's ready for any platform, and it's completely free, and it's completely legal. It's a wonderful program. Thanks for stopping by 2 Bites Bread and Barbecue. If you found this useful, give us a thumbs up. That helps us with YouTube. And if you found it very useful, you can subscribe to my channel. Thanks and goodbye.